We could speak here for hours. You should make this into a part 2 and 3.
Yeah.
We could.
Part 2, 3, 4,
But this
5.
is always what we find that happens.
That's
People
why
like
they
you
so-
come here and just show us like.
Because now it's the conversation is getting real now. I like this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're rolling.
Yeah.
Mike as well? Good?
Mike's good.
Okay. Everyone, it's the Daily Grind again. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a special guest here, loving Lekka, Thameenah Daniels and Yusuf Daniels, affectionately known as Yusi in my circles at Squash.
Are we?
This is a pillar. Loving Lekka is a pillar in the color community. In my opinion, I think that it's important that we have people that are doing things in our community. That what you guys are doing, actually
Amen.
showing our people that we can do things. We can do things outside of being a teacher, a plumber, which are all very noble pursuits. But if you feel like that's not your vibe, there's something else that you can do.
Yeah.
Options.
Yes, there's options. There's options. If you have the confidence, you need the confidence. If you can stand up against people's thoughts and opinions of yourself, then you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? So, what we start with is, what does the Daily Grind? So, the Daily Grind is obviously the name of our podcast, and I want to ask both of you. We'll start with Yusi. What does the Daily Grind mean to you in your day-to-day?
In my day-to-day? Daily grind for me is to be able to wake up on my time.
Yeah.
Not someone else's time.
On your clock.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm up at 5:30 every morning.
Yeah.
Then I do stuff. I set my day and then I go a nap. I take another nap. And I have a new baby now, so she sleeps on my chest around 6:30 while I'm watching sport. After that, take a little nap, get up again, spend a bit of time with the wife. And then I move on and then I go see people, clients, Thameenah and I have our own business. Then I get to go watch my daughter run at high school. I can go watch my son do whatever he's doing. And I can support this child here. Well, it's what a child. She's big now, 24 years old. But she's still my child. And I can go do something, whatever she wants me to do with her. And then I spend time with the wife and I can go play squash at night. And that is how I like to live my life, on my terms. It's hard work to get there. It didn't happen overnight, but it's beautiful once you get there, once you are there.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you think? What's your Daily Grind routine?
I think the daily grind for me is to have the opportunity and give myself the opportunity to basically just explore everything that I've ever wanted to do. And also to not limit myself to just stay inside a box. I think the daily grind is a very good way to express that, pushing yourself to your limit so that you know that you don't necessarily need to make money in the way that everyone else makes money. And I think like growing up, it was something that kind of like scared me, but also intrigued me. This like 9 to 5 cycle of people just going to work, then going to sleep, and then carrying on like that. And I tried it for a year, and I just did not like it because I was also taking more leave than anyone else at my workplace. And then they said, oh, you take the most leave here. No one actually takes leave. I said, you can give me their leave also.
Yeah.
So,
Corporate honest.
yeah. So
It's there for a reason. That leave is there for a reason. I'm thinking.
Exactly. So I think for me, it's just like pushing myself to my limits and then also pushing myself further, just so that I can see what it is that I can do with this life.
Yeah, nice. Yo, that's what it's about. Honestly, pushing your limits is it's a privilege, and it's a God-given privilege. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it's almost malevolent and almost like an evil in a way how in society people are just constricted and they can't express themselves.
Yeah.
You know, so what I wanna ask is, we can talk about loving Lekka and all that, but I don't want it to be a standard interview. I wanna dig deep into what masculinity and femininity means to you guys as well. I think you guys will have an interesting take because you've almost had to. I mean, maybe you've had influences in the past with or pictures of what masculinity looks to you and femininity looks like to you. But I'm sure that you had to make up your own ideas and gain your own ideas along the way. Considering that you took in this path that isn't the a well-trodden path. So we can start with you. You see, what does masculinity mean to you in a family sense, in presenting, etc., etc.
In a family sense, firstly, for me is protect. First, protect. I have been gifted this group of children and a wife, a beautiful wife, and I need to make sure they are protected first in any and every way. My bro, I cannot if it comes to my family. That's the thing. Do not touch my family. Don't go near my family. You can comment on social media. They go at her all the time. But I treat it with
naturally.
I go back with love and sarcasm. So now and again, I am fucking sarcastic.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be. Trying to get out of it. And it's slowly coming.
But that's you, man.
But that's me. I am just sarcastic. But don't go. If you're going at my family, like I said, protection is my first thing. I'm going to come back at you, unfortunately, but with love.
Yeah.
Most a lot of love. That is just me.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. And provide. I need to, when I say provide, it's not just money. Security is important. Listen, without security, you can't do much. Security is there. I've hustled my whole life. This child has seen the lengths that I go to make sure that my family is provided for. And listen, that is the duty of the man. We need to look after family. But if a woman comes and she has a stronger position or a better job, I have no issues with that. I appreciate that. But I will still do my part, play my part. And if you don't have balance, I believe you're going to struggle. So again, relationship-wise, the two of you must kind of get along when it comes to the providing and this and that. And
Only kind of.
She must allow you and you kind of, and you must also allow her kind of thing. But like I said to you, those things for me, and just to make sure that they grow up beautiful people, my children. I'm there because I set an example. My example is how you're going to live your life. Why? Because I'm a fucking Lekka person, one. I'm a God-fearing person. Whether I believe in God or not, it's not my business. I'm a God-fearing person. And I treat everybody the same, whether you, the person at the bottom of the barrel or a CEO, I will treat each and everybody the same. And that's with the utmost of respect. And my children, and I'm proud to say this, and this is what they watch you. This is how they act. And this is what parents need to learn. The way you act at home is how your kids are going to act on the streets.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of my children.
And I love that you mentioned that, because one of the first things that I identified with you was that you're just like straight up a good dad, and you really that's a dad brag. We don't see a lot of those, especially from my background. You don't see a lot of dads using their kids as a flex, supporting their kids as a flex, using being at the soccer, the athletics, being at everything that I know you're at, being there. They don't use that as a flex. It's like, it's not so common in our community, not so common from our background. But that is one of the things I really like. And I feel like if you're already a good dad, there's such a high chance you have good kids.
So true, eh?
Yeah, just because you're present and you're there, and you're already telling us that you've identified that the things that are valuable in this life are not the material things. I said to Luke on our way here, by the time we die, we're just stories and legends.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what car you were driving, what shoe you were wearing, but my dad was there. I remember my dad always being there. I remember my dad saying this. I remember that day I needed my dad, and
100%.
Not a lot of people can relate to that. So shout out to you for being a good dad. But in context with what we were saying, it's like, if you're a good dad, it's easy to have good kids, man. Because they watch you. They see what you're doing.
Eh? So true.
I'm just guessing because I'm not a dad.
No, you spot on. Can I just add one small thing onto that? That is spot on. Sorry, Thameenah, I'll give you a chance now.
Okay, I'm fine.
But this is about you. So when Thameenah was at Rustenburg Girls Junior School, listen to this beautiful story. And she was a netball player. I was the netball dad. I was the only man there with a whole lot of women as parents.
Of course.
But I did not miss a single game of her school and netball. And the most beautiful thing I've seen as a dad happen on this day. She was playing shooter and she was on 23 points. She had broke the school record for that. And I'm sitting on a bench behind the poles. There's a bench this side and that side. So I moved that side and this side. And I'm sitting there and listen to what you were saying was just to be there. And I sit there and every time this child scored 23 goals, 23 times after she scored, she looked at me and she winked at me and she blew me a kiss.
Yeah.
And that is how your children appreciate you being there. And that is how you create the most beautiful memories.
Absolutely.
I even wrote a book about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful and people need to hear it. And what you're saying is true. You need to brag about your children. And you need to brag about you being a good dad.
Yeah.
You can rub off another dad.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
And it also goes back to working on your own clock, you know, like having that privilege to be there and be present. We're not shading any parents who can't be there, obviously.
Yes, 100%.
But
Agreed.
having the time and choosing to make time, it's also very important. I come from a dad who I went to Rondebosch Boys, and he was the only one at the cake day. He was the only one, the only dad giving rides back and forth from rugby far away. So I'm used to seeing this dad figure doing it, and it means the most when I speak to my friends who don't have that. You can see it. You can see it in the way they move. You can see it in how they speak. You know, so it's so much. I just really appreciate those type of conversations, those type of interactions, because I do not think we see enough of that. It's because it's also then stems into a whole healthy household of things. And now you're talking about the machine that a family is and how everybody does their part to cohesively make this car run. It's like, it's not just one person. So you all are constantly, I got a good dad. I want to be a good daughter for my dad.
There we go.
I want to be a good brother for my,
Spot on.
it's amazing how it all connects. But often when we do not on our own clock, and we're so busy chasing everybody else's time, meeting their stuff, we can't even think about it.
I'm just beeping in. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That's brilliant. You should say that.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
No.
So on that, it's I think a lot about colored culture and community. We'll get to femininity very soon, I promise you. The thing is, like, I've thought about our history. Like, it's like there was obviously Apartheid, which was very confusing for the colored community. You know, are we white? Are we black? Where do we sit? Black and white were taken. You know, and you know. Grandfathers of our or my grandmother and etc. were in the war and whatnot. They had to be hard and almost distant emotionally from their family. So it's really good to hear these examples of masculinity being more holistic, not just providence and discipline and you know these hard things. I want to touch on what you said about being a provider, because there's obviously, you know, with the hustle that you had to do and the chaos that came with it. Yeah. You know, I don't know anything about what you did pre-author. Obviously, it's in the books and whatnot, but clearly there was also a hustle involved, and there wasn't a steady income, right? That comes with maybe a 9 to 5. You know, that's so. How did you keep your almost sanity? And being a good dad and all, I'm sure religion tied into that too.
Absolutely.
But tell me about how you coped with that chaos of not having to provide, couldn't provide maybe this month and etc.
That was tough. That was over a few years of, it was very tough. So sometimes you appreciate people that say they need a 9 to 5 job and they have that stability. I appreciate that, but it's just unfortunately not me. And I had to hustle. I tried to sell gold, diamonds. I almost died 3 times. You were in the one book. I almost died 3 times on this one trip, right? I sold underwear out of my boot. I've sold any food product you can think of. Look, I've sold just about anything you can think of. I'm looking at objects here in your room, and I've tried to sell a few of these things that you see around here. That's how I hustle. Yeah. And the most difficult part of that was, and Thameenah's my witness, she was grown up by then. There were times when I came home and I didn't have a cent. I didn't make a cent on certain days. I didn't have money. And I would just have like a few rands, and I would buy the minimal things and bring it home, and I wouldn't eat. Many nights I didn't eat. I went to bed without eating. And Thameenah would ask me, Dad, why are you not eating? And I would say, no, I ate already. And that was hard for me, but it was part of life, unfortunately for me, but also at the same time, fortunately, because it taught me such valuable lessons to appreciate when you have a lot more. And believe me, now that like a 50 rand for me now is of greater value when I had money back then. And there were times when I had a lot of money. But now I appreciate it, and I appreciate a lot more than when I didn't have it. Teaches you valuable lessons. Like I said, I got stuck with my car a few times, called friends, and I had no money.
Running out of petrol.
I only have petrol, bro. I've had been there, and I'll never forget certain things that came out. And I said, I'm stuck. I didn't say I don't have money, because now you can't go walk to the garage, because firstly, you don't have money. You don't tell them. And I have such good friends that actually came out and would bring me petrol, and then I'm thinking, right, I've got a bit of petrol. Next move, how am I going to earn that 200 rand to get food on the table tonight, or just bread for the school, kids for school tomorrow?
Yeah.
And people don't see that. They only see where we are now, and they think, wow, look, you living your best life.
You don't know.
It was a dark life, but someone had to live it. And at that time, God wanted me to live it. And He wanted people to hear this right now, so they can learn from this.
Amen.
The thing is, like, did you want to say something? Okay. Yes. I want to ask you a question, actually.
Yeah,
But yes,
so I really want to say that something that also stood out for me in that time was that even though I was older, so I was more aware of what was going on, but my dad never let us see. Like, even when we moved, like, how many times? Like 8 times over. It felt like a game. Like, he always made it feel like we were doing something fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, even my mom also, I remember this one day, this is like my starkest memory from those times, is that she, like, we didn't have a lot of food, and we had, like, noodles, and there was, like, tuna or, like, pilchards or something. And she was like, how can we make this into a meal? And then it was, like, an entire interactive session where we were trying to make noodles and pilchards with no oil and no butter into a meal.
Yeah.
Like, so they were very good at making sure that we didn't feel the pressure of what they were feeling. And I think that's
amazing.
also important, because a lot of parents can't do that. They can't separate that feeling between, okay, I'm struggling and I need to make it your problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and you see, I come from a very similar background, actually, from you. Like, my father right now he's got this hustle, like, he works in the food business. So he started with short dated goods, and now he's got his own butter factory and whatnot, but it's still heavy. Like, seeing your father break, I don't know, to the point of like nervous breakdowns, and like because a lot of your identity as a man is to provide. And what I try to tell my father all the time is that the effort is what I see. The effort is what I appreciate. It gets a bit emotional, actually, but because I know how hard it is to be part of this, to not have a 9 to 5, especially now in this climate. Food is expensive, and trying to make a margin from food right now is
crazy.
One of the toughest jobs in the world right now in South Africa. So it's difficult when you see your father struggle like that, and almost get to a point, and also feel like he needs to show you that he's providing. Whereas I'm like, Dad, I know how heavy it is on him. The effort that I see is means the most to me. But it's difficult to see that. Right? You see, or it's difficult to hear that and actually process and be like, okay, I can relax a bit.
Yeah.
My father's had heart attacks, like in 1 week, multiple. It's like that type of.
It's not for everyone, eh?
Yeah,
I can tell.
But it chooses you.
Yeah,
it chooses
you.
But a lot of people won't survive. Their mom always told me, I'm surprised you haven't had 3 heart attacks by now. And the only thing, and this is it, straight facts, the only thing that got me through those times was my conversations with my Creator on my prayer mat. I promise you, He always shows you a way. And you just need to ask. I do believe that. You're not going to get answers if you don't ask in anything in life. And that's what got me through. And my kids got me through those times, because I look at them and I think to myself, bro, you need to do this, because it's about them before anything else.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, I'm also someone who's reasonably faithful. But there's this, I can't really decide what's the difference between being delusional about your success and being blind in faith and trusting the process and just being like, nah, God's got me. I'm just going to keep on.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing, but I really think something's going to work out. And it's weird how just before things really take off, they get insanely hard. And they bring you to the, like, it's almost like you have to reach that breaking point to know that you're going to make it through.
You've just explained me as a person or my life. He's just done that.
And I also think that as a hustler, you need to have some, like a solid amount of delusion. Like behavior.
Absolutely.
Because even like when I was in my honors, right, all my classmates thought I was completely delulu when I decided to speak to our lecturer and say, I'm pitching your cooking show and you're going to love it. But you have to have that, you have to believe in yourself more than everyone else is going to believe.
You're the person who's trying to tell everybody that there's a beach and there's a land of sea. And they've seen nothing but earth and ground.
Exactly.
No one's trying to step out and walk in the direction of the beach. You can even smell it.
Yeah.
You can feel it. But you have to spend all this time convincing people, no, come to me, there's a beach. Then when people hit the beach, oh my gosh, this beach is amazing. Yeah, I've been saying it's amazing. I've been saying
it. No, 100%.
I've been saying it, but I was delusional. And if I wasn't as delusional and trusted the process and just kept walking into the abyss, until eventually it went from ground to sand, then I wouldn't have known. So it's just that delusion that always kicks me. I'm like, oh my gosh. Every time I think something bad is happening, I'm always like, but there must be something here for me.
Yeah, there's reasons. And I do motivational talks at schools, right? And some teachers as well. And there's this line that I always say, and I always use this, and I say to the kids, do you know when you have a thought or an idea that pops into your head? Do you know when you pitch it to people and they cannot understand it, exactly what you're saying? They can't see the CEO smile. You know why they don't understand it? Because God didn't put it into their heads. He put it into your head.
Exactly.
That's why you will understand it. And you will, I was told at one stage by the chairperson of film in South Africa. I pitched my first book. I sent a story to her. And she said to me, Yusuf, don't write this book. It's not going to work. And I thought to myself, no, man. This was put into my head. I wrote that book. That book became a bestseller within 3 months. I imagine I had to listen to that woman.
Yeah.
And like she says, that's why you must be delusional. So you know what? That's okay.
Yes, but your delusion, is it delusionality? That's not a real thing.
Delusion. Just delusion.
Your delusional behavior must be backed with research, with admin. Like, people don't speak about that side of the hustle. And I think that a lot of hustles fail because there's not that
I'm old school.
organizational structure behind it. And you have to do that research. You must make sure. Like, yes, you have a great idea, like, tomorrow I want to sell paper clips. But you need to know what the market is for that paper clips. You need to know what are your profit margins for that paper clips. What is it going to cost me? What do I need to sell for? You need to know those things. And I think that a lot of people, they spread this hustle mentality as if it's just like something that we do tomorrow. It's not. It's something that we've worked on for 5 years, but we just, the delusionality pushed us
She just
into that.
No, for sure.
It's so funny. It reminds me of this. I was watching a sermon, and basically what the priest does is he puts a bottle of water in a woman's hand, and he says, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to pray for that bottle of water. And he prays for it, and nothing happens. And he continues, and he prays again. He's like, okay, let me try again. And then after the third time he prays, he walks up and he takes the bottle. And he was like, you can pray, but you gotta also go get it at the same time.
100%.
It's not just like prayer is it's always a good way for guidance, but You pray and then you take it. You do, like you say, you put things in process to get there. You don't just say, I want it so bad. You say, how am I going to run into that guy that has what I want so bad? How am I going to get to that conversation? And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's confusing and people will say, oh, but I've been praying. I've been asking. You got to go get it while you ask for it.
Exactly.
It's so interesting.
You can't sit on your ass and expect things to happen. You ask for it, it's there.
Yeah.
You need to make that move.
Exactly.
And I think that's also like something that stops people and puts people apart, is that being able to make that first step. Because everyone's got ideas, everyone has dreams and things that they've always wanted to do. But the difference is that the people that actually do those things, they're the ones that make a success.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are just stuck being like scared of what's going to happen. Like they just don't want to make that first move. Like you have to do that.
Yeah, we're running out of hustlers. We've never been in a time more present where people want the best results as fast as possible while doing the least amount of work and having the lowest amount of risk. We've never been in a time where people want things now.
Yeah.
They think about it, they want it now.
Quick fix.
So we're running out of hustlers. Same way we're losing our recipes. Nobody's cooking anymore. I don't know why.
My daughter's
they're cooking.
She's cooking.
You guys and cooking liquor at that. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Yeah. I also want to touch on the fact that people like to talk about these ideas and fantasize about it. I've been in that position where I'm like, oh God, there's all these cool ideas. I'm just gonna think about them.
Yeah.
And talk to other people and seem important and feel good about myself talking to other people. And then there's no action.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's gotta be plan A and no plan B. That's, for me at least, like that's how committed you have to be to this idea of yours. It can't be a case of, oh yeah, I've got this other thing, but this is a really cool idea, and this has to be like, this is my magnum opus. This is what I'm gonna base my life around.
It's basic commitment, bro. Like from my experience, what people do is they say they want to do something. They say, oh, I want to jump in the pool, and then they dip a toe.
Yes.
If you're going to do it, do it. Jump in.
Yes.
Jump from high. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't keep on saying, oh, I really want this to happen. It would be so cool for this to happen. Let me try it. But then you don't even stand in the queue.
We have a whole lot of talkers, unfortunately. And you know what? They die wondering what if.
Yes.
And I am not that person, and I will not want any of my kids to be that. I tell them, go for it. Ask her. Anything she comes to me, I will never talk her down. If she comes to me with anything, you can ask her right here. I'll say, hey, go try it.
If he's my delusion all the time. Like, I'll let you come up with like the random things like, that's a great idea for me. Why don't we do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, like,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Stop talking. I am so tired of people talking. And I've been there.
Yes.
I've had multi-million rand deals. I'm not even joking.
Yes.
And the money was there, and the people were there, and they just talked and spoke.
Yeah.
And the money stayed there, and the money went off somewhere else because they are still talking.
It's like that.
But if you do, and I'm saying do, I wrote that first book in a month. Because like you said, commitment. You need to commit. This is the time, right? Here's the plan. Done. I'm doing it. Like you said, the plan A. Did it. And that book just went crazy. And that book and that one thought that you put into action changes your life. That book changed my life from not being able to feed my kids to my kids are not picking up weight. Fuck.
Resourceful.
I know we
Amazing.
No, none of my kids. But I'm just saying,
It's
they're eating
amazing.
liquor. You know what I mean? They're actually eating normal now.
And
I don't care. Whether some people may think that small is only food. Guys, if you don't have food, having food is gold.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So be thankful for that.
I want to jump into femininity now.
Okay.
I think that, for me personally, even as a man, I've been philosophically, delving deep over the last few years, and it's important for me to represent as much as I can. I know it's an ideal world to represent half and half, split down the middle in terms of what's almost stereotypically masculine and stereotypically feminine, because you can't be all the way masculine where you have no emotion,
Yeah.
and you know this and that, because there are so many pros to having a feminine side to you, even if you're masculine, and a masculine side to you, even if you are a woman. So tell me, what does femininity mean to you?
I think that for me, femininity, I think it's a flawed concept, because for me, I'm a girl's girl. Like, I will put a woman that I don't even know before a man every single time. And I just believe that femininity in a traditional sense was created by men.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is flawed, because men have stabbed themselves in the bum by doing that. Because now we have the sense of men feeling like they're not masculine enough, but that term itself was also created back in the day.
Yeah.
When, like my dad says, he's a provider, and that's great. That's understandable, as you should be. But in today's sense of like South Africa's present economy, like all those type of things, you cannot only have a man as a provider. There is no space for that anymore in the society, as it might have been back then, when men didn't give women the opportunity to even have jobs.
Yeah.
And that is why they were traditionally in the house.
Amen.
And I think for me, it's so like Cash 24, because Cash 22?
22, yeah.
22,
Cash
yeah.
22, because
Plus
like a guy once told me, one of my friends actually, he said, do you know, it's so interesting, but I've never seen you as someone who would settle down and get married. And I was like, huh? I was like, I didn't know people think of me like this, like what? And I was like, why? And he was like, you're just so like career driven and like business focused. And I was like, that in my brain does not make sense, because like I've always had to be someone that works, or has, like at least plays their part in a household in that way, but at the same time balance it with my feminine side, which is like my cooking. Like, I love cooking, and I love the feeling of giving back to your family in that way.
Feeding.
But at the same time, I don't think that cooking is a female thing.
No.
Because then you meet men who have now moved from their cities, like with their families, and now they have to cook for themselves, and they struggle because they were never given that opportunity in their households to take up that space, and now they suddenly just can't cook, and now what are they going to do? Do you know what I mean? And they feel bad for themselves because now they love cooking, but it's not a masculine thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why femininity as a traditional sense is flawed, because women can do anything that a man can do.
Literally.
Yes, you can say, oh,
And
you can't
things
lift
that men
weights,
can't
and-
do.
Yeah, you can say, oh, you can't lift this amount of weight. Did I say I want to? Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that in a worldly sense even, I think a lot of our problems come from men, and men that believe that they are so masculine and that they need to be the specific type of man, but it actually flaws everything that's going on, because at the end of the day, like, a woman has a maternal instinct. They have those capabilities that actually make the family, like your house, so much better, so much softer. Like, and I feel like if we had more women in like bigger positions and positions like structural positions like that, I feel like our world would be so much better. And I
No,
think
for
that
sure.
that's something that I want to push, is that women can literally do anything that they want to, and it shouldn't be constrained by all these like stereotypes of, oh, you are a career-driven woman, so you must be a bad mom, or like you obviously don't have time for your kids because you're in the office. Like, yes, a woman will go to the office, work that 9 to 5, and then still come home for her kids and make sure that she's perfectly fine. And I think that like breaking down that masculine role is very important, because a man can also be at home. If a woman wants to be a badass lawyer and makes like 6 million or whatever, then she must do that. And the man must sit and he must cook and he must play with his kids. Like, he must have that space to be able to do that. And I think that that's something that amazes me about you, is that you've always had that, like you said, that it was you and all the mothers. You've never had that concept of, oh, I'm a man, I mustn't be here for the children. Do you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
And I think that's so important, because we want to see our dads in their soft, like, space. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're a hard dad, you're making hard children. And if you're a stressed out mom, because there's so many things that's happening in your brain, because you can't just be yourself, you have to be a specific type of woman, then you're also a hard woman. And I think that just basic understanding from both sides when it comes to femininity and masculinity, being your own and being a choice that you make, is very important.
Yeah. No, we can definitely unpack a lot There's things that I agree with and things that I disagree with as well. I think that, what I said before with regards to being half and half and not being like, okay, you have to be totally masculine to be a man. Masculinity is separate from being a male with male genitalia and etc. etc. For me, it's a case of, okay, there's religion like Islam, like Christianity, like the Eastern ones as well. They've been around for thousands of years for a reason. I think because they've resonated with humanity for that long. I'm sure there's been hundreds and thousands of religions that have been started within the span of humanity's existence. Yet there are ones that have resonated for thousands of years, and I think they have lessons about being a provider is something that's so embedded in men and being masculine.
Some men.
In some, yes. So I'm getting to
Some
that.
men.
Yeah, so I'm getting to that as well, where there's almost like not all women are the same, and not all men are the same. There are outliers. Like for example, you're not going to get a lot of women that are bricklayers, for example, but you might get. And you won't get a lot of men that are nurses, for example. Yeah. I know nurses. I know male nurses, but very few, right? But that's the beauty of what God's done in terms of mixing. And like, imagine all of us were the same. Life would be so boring, right? So for me and my take on femininity, it's all of this has changed in such a rapid rate because since let's say the Industrial Revolution, when this inflation and like the world's changed, the whole vibe. I mean, humanity was the same for thousands of years, and now in the last 200 years, it's like changed completely. But for me, I think there are things that in like the Quran and in the Bible and all of that remind us of what brings us peace and happiness. Like we talked about providing and nurturing for women is such a fulfilling thing for our female demographic globally as well. As I said, not everyone, right? But there are just some guidelines that or things that we can be okay with expressing. It's because it's when I was probably in university, that's when I started hearing about different takes on what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, and I was like, wow, this is so different. And there are men wearing earrings like me now. I'm wearing earrings, and men like wearing dresses, and I was like, okay, this is really new. Let's. And then I started, once I left university, I really started digging deep into what actually. Let's see what's healthy for the mind, instead of me wearing a dress. To let me, in terms of. I'm not trying to be problematic here. But I
think the problem is that we have stabbed ourselves, like you mentioned, and it's only because we the whole thing started with the male ego, right? So we use masculinity as a way to boost ourselves and say, oh, if you're this very masculine guy, okay, cool, you're giving him credits. We also use it as a way to shame us. So if you're not masculine, then there's something wrong with you. But if you are masculine, my problem would be that I think it's all very subjective based on the person. Because some might argue that it's not masculine to cook, but I could argue that that's an essential skill to survive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like some men will never get caught in the kitchen. But I'm like, bro, if you don't know how to cook, how are you going to survive? It has nothing to do with masculine or feminine. It's about feeding your body, sustenance, food.
Yeah.
So it's subjective as to how we framed our mind around the question, what's feminine, what's masculine. Like, it's a silly question. It's a silly question. And the longer we debate it, we're never going to get to a clear answer because it's all subjective. Because my grandma used to do this and Nana used to do this, but that person lives in America and they have a very different experience. And so it's like we're trying to answer one collective question with a bunch of collective different experiences. So for me, femininity, when I think of femininity, I see it as a higher being thing. Like I always say that a woman in her true femininity is most likely with a man who plays his provider role really well. And that doesn't mean that she's cooking. That means you could cook together in the kitchen. But it means that like there's a certain thing that a male can do to make a female feel like it's okay to be her most feminine, most nurturing, most loving
100%.
at the core of her center.
Yes.
And it's like, it's such a delicate balance because you have to find the right person who allows you to feel that way. And there will be females or women who will allow you to be masculine and fill a gap that to you means a lot, but to her it might not. So it's like, do you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's very subjective.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you're talking about black and white, but we're living in a book of colors here. You know?
Yeah.
So, and I think people spend way too much time trying to do that. Define black and white in a world of color.
Yeah.
So that's for me, it's like, bro, what is masculine to you? Sometimes I feel like it could be doing something that displays strength. Sometimes I feel like it might be masculine to be extremely vulnerable with someone who needs it in the right space and time.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes your mom or female has to be incredibly harsh on that kid because they need to learn that lesson then, but you're not going to see it as masculine, you're going to see it as motherly. So it's a tricky debate, man.
Yes,
but we know
it is.
It's a tricky debate.
Yeah. And what the thought escaped me now. But it's really important to have a solid idea of what it means to you, because you can be in the space where you don't like you don't understand yourself because you've thrown all these ideas, right? Especially in our like going to university. I don't know where you went to university or was it college? Yeah, UCT and studies.
Jeez. You get
got
the
so many
best.
guys. Oh, nice. Put it out there.
So those were those places, especially when I was there as well, we might have actually intersected. It was so volatile at one stage where like you didn't want to step out of your dorm room, especially as a man. In that, especially like when it was not Me Too, it was before Me Too, the movement. Yes. Oh my gosh, man. If you like in the lecture room, it felt like a war zone. Like you sweaty palms. I didn't go to lectures sometimes, and then you question like, okay, what is it? How do I express myself? Is this I mean, you see, I know you come from a different generation.
Yeah.
It might be a bit more black and white for you. I actually hear your comment on what's been said, because I mean it's things have even accelerated even more since maybe you were in your youth or 20s, etc. You're still in your youth,
In terms of masculinity.
but yeah.
But I also can for what you're saying about that time, and also like mayoral recipes, and every single woman that's been, domestic violence. But I think that for me, and this is something like I always say, I don't have guy friends, but it's only because I have never found a male that actually wants to be my friend. Like that's why I just decide I don't want to.
It's not.
But when it comes to the men in my life, I always choose a man that stands with a woman. And my dad is someone like that. Like even when Nene passed away, we were in that crowd. Like, and my dad was one of the first people, he'll be like, okay, we need to do something. Like,
were you guys there that day of the march?
I think I was. Were you with me? Yeah. And I came from school and we went straight. And I think that for me, that's always something that I think of. Like, even when you're saying I didn't know what to do, like I walked out. My favorite man was a man that was, in the front and saying, this is not right. Like, we need to come right, like as a society. And I think that even that is also, for me, a very masculine thing. Like, if you can not care about what everyone else in your locker room is saying and come out there and believe in what you believe in, I think it's such an important thing.
I'll tell you a nice story about why I love women. And
I've got many of those.
Me too.
It's empty.
but on this day specifically, I was there. I knew Uyunene very well. She was from Grahamstown. She was best friends with my girlfriend. And I will always say this. I hate the way that she died because every single time I spent time with her, she was the girl preaching about domestic violence. And it's just so insane to me that she would go out like at a house party at 3 a.m. At a house party 3 a.m. she's talking about gender-based violence, bro. And for to God, that same way, I just don't understand what it could possibly mean or how it could possibly make sense. So we were all hit very hard by that because also where it happened was like down the road from Rez.
Yeah.
I was there on that day, marching, everything was calm. A police officer had hit a woman in front of me. I got in a thing with him. I got separated from the crowd and the police took me. They pepper sprayed me, they beat me up and they were carrying me to this van. And I was telling them, let me go. And they wouldn't listen to me. But obviously I can't see, my vision's all blurry. And I just hear these voices and it's like, I hear this woman say, he said, let him go. So let him go. Leave him alone. And they just dropped me there on the pavement. And I can't see anything. And these ladies just start pouring milk over my face.
Oh, wow.
And I have no idea who they are, what they look like, anything about them. All I can remember is their voices. But they were warriors in that battlefield. They were like, here, bro, take this milk. I gotta go.
They came
Next
prepared
man.
also with milk.
They came prepared, bro. They had, and it's like
story.
one of the most beautiful things that have ever happened to me is that my life, I think, was saved by people I'll never know.
Yeah.
And those were just women doing their duty that day, bro.
Yeah.
They were just there. They came prepared.
And you say that, and I firmly believe, women are so much stronger than men.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, they can take so much more than men.
Absolutely.
And I've come across so many women, beautiful women, but women that is strong. Listen, I watched my wife give birth 3 months ago, my bro.
Yeah.
That woman gave birth. I was standing there watching, and I saw this little thing flying out. There was no doctor. Right? There was no doctor, nobody there. Myself, my wife, and alone. And I saw this child flying out. Landed on the bed on her own, nobody there. The child lay there. My wife just looked and said, "She okay?" And I thought to myself, "Fuck, woman, you just fucked a child,
Also
and you are nothing." I think to myself, if that was me, I would have been dead just before that child came out.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah.
Died.
No way.
We are just not as strong. And I after that day, I thought to myself, I'm not fucking with this woman.
Yeah.
Seriously, she is strong in many ways, but
Like-
that.
This is what I'm saying. We're so messed up in our head that we've been convinced that superpowers is a man flying.
Yeah.
And that, like, we're convinced that in order powers are like shooting red stuff out of your eyes, like we're associated with superheroes. They are the real
Because
superheroes.
we're insecure. That's
They
why
are the
that's
real
why men needed to
superheroes.
fly.
You're telling me
and
it's
whatever, you know?
The power of media, eh?
the power of media, and you're telling me it's not a superpower to give birth.
Yeah, no.
That's
Giving
not-
birth is already, we've established it's the highest pain threshold that a human knows.
Sure. Yeah.
Women be having multiple babies a year.
A few hours later, my wife, I tell you, a few hours later, she walked out of the hospital home.
Walked.
She walked out in the home. That's crazy, guys.
Yeah,
Like I said,
Yeah.
how can you not love women?
No.
A part of me feels like the same way that apartheid worked is similar to the suppression of women throughout
I agree.
throughout decades. Is that like some point these few guys sat together and they realized very quickly this woman can do so much more than this. It's in our best interest to suppress everything that we know she's capable of so that we can maintain control. The same way it worked with black people of color. Like it was like, okay, they can do things we can't, or they have advantages that we can't. Let's try to find a way to control them by oppressing them for so long. And that's what I feel like has happened to women.
I fully agree with you.
It's weird,
I
right?
feel like that has happened.
Because why else would we be so threatened by them if we're always saying that we're stronger than them?
I've got a hot take on that. I don't think it's about oppression, but mostly because we just didn't think about it. We didn't think about women actually being integrated into the workforce. Only now that women are actually bringing it up, and other men that are now also, you know, more and more men are awake to the fact that, hey, women have a place in our workforce, in our leadership in the country. I don't think I don't think we're that clever.
No, I think
we're that clever to actually be
I think we are.
We need to
You don't have to
keep
be
women
clever.
outside.
You just have to be calculated.
Because
bro.
I actually have a story. So when I studied politics in my undergrad, that is something that I wanted to do. I was like, I'm gonna be a politician, that is gonna be my job. Like I wanted to be a diplomat, like there were so many parts of it that I wanted to explore. And then I met this woman. And she worked in Parliament for a very long time. I won't name her, but she worked in Parliament for a very long time, and she shared her story as a woman in foreign policy. And she was basically saying that when she had her period, the men in her office would make fun of her. They would literally tell her like, oh, you see, you get like these bad headaches and stuff because you don't want to be at home with your husband. Like you don't want to be at home with your kids. Like that is something that happens in this day to day. It is because men cannot control a woman like that.
It's control.
And it is about
Insecurities.
control. It's about knowing that, especially in that section of like politics, it's literally about power.
Yeah.
So if you can see that the woman is resonating with more people than you are, you're going to want to push them down. It's just the way that it works.
I truly believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence. Everything is very well calculated. And
I'm with you on
everything-
this one, Ian.
Like, there's no way. It's because then someone could argue that apartheid was just people not thinking of people of color.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's
definitely-
calculated.
Yeah, it's planned.
Yeah,
They
that's
had the
calculated.
400-year blueprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
insane.
Yeah,
So I just, no.
Sure.
Guys, stop taking women for granted.
yeah, 100%. 100%. What's that?
I just pointed
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Point. Okay.
Yeah.
Point.
No one 100%. I mean, there's also like this religion that I got into. When I say got into, I don't hop from religion to religion.
Sounds like a cult.
Sounds like it.
I like reading through every single, especially Eastern ones, because we've been around Western philosophy.
Way too long.
Yeah.
And there's this thing called Taoism. And have you heard of it? So they celebrate the woman. It's divine. That's where the idea of divine feminine, the divine feminine comes from. You are literally you as a woman, you are the closest thing to God.
Yes.
You are literally creating life.
Yes.
Life has been created in you. And so literally that whole religion revolves around the divine feminine and amongst other things. But it celebrates women. There are so many instances where humanity has celebrated, the femininity in both men and women. And if we can bring that back and discuss the positives of masculinity and femininity instead of the negatives.
And just truly appreciate
There's
them.
just so many. It's just South Africa specifically. It's so bad, yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, we are so
Very
behind.
violent.
We are
so behind.
so
And
bad.
I don't know
It's
why.
so embarrassing.
Do you guys know
honestly.
why? Like, why is it so
It's-
bad?
It's because it's because of apartheid. It's because of our history. It's because of there is a bunch of factors that stem from our oppression and the era of oppression that has led us into this. It's because of traumas that aren't healed. It's because the TRC was 3 years and apartheid was 30 plus. It's because people haven't healed. It's because people haven't had the time or the space to share how they truly feel. It's because apartheid happened 30 plus years ago and people are acting like it happened in the 1940s.
Yeah.
People are taking black and white pictures and they put black and white pictures of apartheid in textbooks. Dude, there are people living today that still had a dompas. They act like it's so far out of reach.
yeah.
We're so quick to escape and run away from truly healing and just move forward and forward and forward.
Yeah.
And then we left with all this gunk, dude.
Yeah.
And this is what happens throughout of it. Violence, anger. How is it that we're the most violent, we drink the most, we're the most poor, and we have the most people on the street? Dude, this directly stems. Why do we have so many people on the streets? People got kicked out of District 6 like it was nothing,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they were just. Then they were like, "Oh no, go make something of it." There's no water. There's no electricity. We'll see how it goes. What did we think was gonna happen? It's like what 15 years later, and now we're wondering why people are still homeless. People who never had a home, their families grew up in shacks. Their grandmothers, like, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many factors as to why we have the result that we have now, and I truly believe it's the reason that we haven't been able to like break through this is because it doesn't take giving a house back. It takes
Yeah.
healing a heart. It takes fixing generational trauma because that guy was abused. His dad gets beaten by some random white dude on his way home. His dad gets home, beats him. The anger continues, or they start drinking. I mean, the fact that we were paid in liquor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And now what? Everybody and liquor and sugar. Now everyone either has diabetes or we're alcoholics and we're losing our teeth.
It started somewhere.
It started somewhere. Exactly.
Yeah. But what I hate also is when people say, "Oh, you guys need to get over this now."
Yeah.
You fucking don't just get over
That
this.
shit happened yesterday.
And you know what of my pet hates when I say it all the time. I don't care. Guys, also, by the way, I'm the eldest here by far.
Yes.
And I don't actually give a fuck. I don't care what you think of me.
Yeah.
I've lived through apartheid. I was moved while I was running from school to school, boycotting.
Yes.
I've been through a lot. I've seen it, lived it. My grandparents, my family was thrown out of the 60s. I was in that house when that happened. I wrote about it.
Yes.
But my pet hate is when people say, you guys have it all fine now. It's 30 years later. Guy, that house that you threw my grandmother out of, you now own. It was worth almost nothing. It's now worth 4 million.
Yeah.
Your child has a head start of 4 million rand.
Yeah.
That is my issue. And that is not just one house. That is this whole Rondebosch, Mowbray, Newlands, Clifton, Seapoint,
Woodstock.
and all the best areas. Yeah, well, Mitchell's meant what? Yeah, so what? You threw us there. The house is still worth nothing. People are still struggling, still paying rent there in that house. And you tell us to get over it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Like you say, we haven't healed yet.
No one's healed.
But why? Because nobody's tried to help us to heal yet. Because there's a new government in, they fucking up in a different way than the first government, the apartheid government. Nothing better than that government. They're just doing it a different way. And apartheid is so rife still right now.
Yeah.
You are blind if you don't see it. I see it in my daily actions with people and on social media. If you want to see racism and apartheid, my bro, go onto social media.
Yeah.
It is beautifully cock. Seriously.
No. People want to act like it's not institutional. You speak of racism as it was like, you speak of apartheid like it was a bad joke yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been a bad joke for years and years and years, my guy. Like,
And it's still going on.
It's in the buildings. It's part of the metal that you put to put the wall up. And now, dude, and it's like, what are we gonna do, bro? I don't know.
So something I wanted to speak about was that a lot of people find that Islam isn't like a religion of feminism or a religion that places women first. And I think that for me, I always believe that when you are a religious person, you need to find your religion again for yourself. Because, like, completely aside from culture and like your family and what everyone tells you, like, you need to do the research and know why it is that you're in this place. And I did a lot of research on like feminism in Islam. And it was so interesting because I was like, this is why culture is a problem. Because it's not the religion that is at fault here. Because literally, like, I find it so funny because I dated a non-Muslim person before. And they were so confused. They were like, what are you talking about that your money is what? Because in Islam, my money is my money as a woman. If we get married, right? But your money is my money also.
Yeah.
But you don't touch my money.
I don't agree with that. But
And that is like, it's like the perfect example of how Allah set out the religion to put women first.
Yeah.
To protect women in everything that we do. And it's so like Jannah, heaven lies under your mother's feet.
Oh yeah.
Meaning you have to protect your mother and treat her like a queen. Because if you do not, you do not get heaven.
Yeah.
And it's like small things like that. Like when you give birth, like you get like so many blessings, like your sins get erased. Like there's so many parts of Islam that prioritizes women and puts them first. But because of culture, and I think like obviously like you get a man that's like, like that's like what you mean. Then it's suddenly like those rules don't apply. And I think that's why I'm like so in love with religion, because I'm like, wow, my money is my money. Right.
And you know what? I think a lot of these people that she speaks of, they bend the rules to suit their narratives.
Yes.
That is the problem.
It's not the doctrine that's the problem.
No,
it's the people that are talking about the doctrine.
There we go.
preaching.
Because they add stuff and people believe them. And you know that people in power, so what they say, people say, it must be because he's a big sheikh, he's a big priest, I need to listen. Meanwhile, go back to the Bible or the Quran, and it doesn't actually say what that man just said. But people, unfortunately, believe the word of certain people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for me at least, it was to look at different religions and doctrines and watch a YouTube video. I'm not gonna read the whole Quran, but tell me the differences and let me decide for myself what is good for me. Instead of, because I came from a background where so a Christian background, but it was it was really toxic for me where it was, okay, how can I impress other Christians? Or
There's a lot of that. There's too much of that.
yes, exactly, and that's my gripe with Western philosophy. And I said this in a story. You might have seen it on my story, where it's like, so for Western philosophy, so the monotheistic, like Islam, Christianity, Judaism, I think those are the big three Western philosophies, right? It's, you can't be God, it's how close you can get to God, right? And there are massive lessons in that too. But then in Eastern philosophy, it is, you can obtain divinity if you work hard enough on yourself, right? And those are two very different ways of looking at divinity. But if you can mesh those two together, it's such a fantastic lessons or group or couple of lessons. I can't think straight now, but it's because for me, people I can't speak for the mosque or but people in the church, they are always talking about how close they are to God, or how they're gonna get divine favor because they've done this and done that. It's almost like how set is my spot in heaven, instead of
they're trying to like book a plot or something.
You know, you're right. Nobody's spot is booked. There's no guarantees. The highest priest on this earth, roaming this earth right now, not even his spot is booked. And here's a story in Islam, right? There's a story, the Prophet saw this one day, and Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw this. There was this prostitute, right? And everybody looked down on her. And you're going to hell, and you're going to hell. And they just kept on nailing this woman. And the Prophet ﷺ saw her, and he said nothing, he watched. And the one day, there was a dog that couldn't drink from the well. She took her shoe, she dipped it in water, put water in her shoe, and she gave this dog water. Do you know what? That prostitute went to heaven because of that one action. That's why I say, don't look down on people that you think you think you're better than them. Like the people in church and mosque that think they are, I come 5 times to mosque, I will go straight to heaven. It's your actions outside that mosque and church that counts, whether you will be going or ending up wherever you're going to end up. And we must, and you know what? Religion, again, it's people that make religion bad. It's not the religion. It's people. Islam is beautiful. Christianity is beautiful. Judaism is beautiful. All these religions are beautiful religions. But there are these extremists that take it to another level and they make religion ugly. Do you know, as a Muslim, and I'm sure you two have never heard this before, do you know that my Christian neighbor next door has more rights over me than my Muslim brother and sister that lives anywhere else? I have to make sure they are sorted out or fed or make sure they have food. They have more rights over me than my close family.
It's like love thy neighbor.
I see what you mean.
I see.
Did you know that? They have more rights over me than my actual family.
And I think that's like, it plays on that part of how we shift narratives and what stories get told at the end of the day. Because of who is telling the story. Because like, I always find it so interesting. I didn't know the like specifics of the story before, but like our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and I'm so glad that story gets told because it's such a good story.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
it really is.
But like even our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he had a wife, Khadija, right? And she was older than him, and that's why it's a sunnah to marry an older woman. So something that the Prophet did that gives you blessings.
Okay.
So like people don't speak about her as a woman in Islam figure, because she was like a massive
She
businesswoman
was strong.
tycoon at that time. And no one speaks about that, because how long ago was that there was this woman entrepreneur that was
Yeah.
basically like slaying the game.
You're right.
And there was a very firm masculine man, the prophet,
Yeah.
who was very fine with that.
Guess what?
She funded a lot of
She gave him a
things
job.
that she basically exactly,
gave him a job.
She looked after him,
Yeah.
because she knew that what he needed to do was spread the word of Islam, and he needed to be comfortable to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, we don't tell that story, and I don't understand why. But I do understand why, because who wants to speak about a woman that was looking after the prophet? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're right. I actually like that you bring that up.
And it's so like, it shouldn't be so hard, and you should really introspect your ego if you find it a mission to let your wife hold you down, support you, be the primary breadwinner when you already have found your purpose. So, and also, what people don't notice is whenever you talk about a woman in context of what she gives and what you give, you're competing with her, bro.
Yeah.
Why are you competing with your wife?
It's an ego thing. It comes
Yeah.
down to ego and
That's what it
insecurities.
is.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's men, because women are not born with this ugly ego. Men don't even. I'm not saying ugly because I use it to my advantage. You can use it to your advantage, but in a good way, in a righteous way. But when it comes to the actual thing that was in my brain and now it's gone.
Oh, wait. One thing I will say,
I was listening.
I was also listening.
you had me there. One thing I
Same.
will say is, I've always been a bit iffy. I've always believed in a higher power and I believed in faith. But one thing that was iffy with me about the whole Christianity thing is that when the colonizers came to South Africa, they brought sugar, wine, and the Bible.
And the Bible, yeah.
Know what I mean? So that's kind of tricky.
No.
But I would also, what I find is most religions are trying to get you to behave.
Yeah.
Behave.
It's the people
be a
coming
good boy,
back
be
to
a
what
good
he said.
girl.
It's the people that are interpreting this Bible for their own gain. Exactly. So there are things in the Bible that don't work, and I'm sure there's things in the Quran that as well, where it's like for us the Old Testament, there's a lot of things that don't work, and it's contextual to that time, and it's about how God speaks through that doctrine into you.
Yeah.
It's like your interpretation. It's not Adam and Eve. For me, this is a hot take. Adam and Eve didn't exist. For me, it's a story. Snakes don't talk. Snakes don't talk. It's what. So you need to understand the symbolism behind these stories, right? What the snake meant in that time period when it was written.
Yeah. And it's also weird that Eve ate the apple, but only men have an Adam's apple.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So what? How does that? I'm just saying. Just one thing that I noticed. I was like,
Maybe it's the
but
apple that Adam didn't eat. That we stuck with.
exactly. So we're stuck with the apple. This
Stuck with the
apple.
apple because we didn't eat it.
Yeah.
Eve made the sacrifice. Hey.
Who knows?
Hey.
Who knows?
Eve was brave enough.
Here we go.
Maybe was a bitchy bang.
Yeah.
And we got cursed with the apple for the rest of our lives.
No, I'm just thinking about it. It's just kind of weird, bro. And considering most likely a male wrote this book or transcribed, and like think about it, the Bible has been transcribed so many times, and all that transcription is writing a story from another person's perspective.
Yeah.
Each time it has been
Translations as well.
each time
different
it's been a new
languages.
person taking what they understand and putting it into context for them. One thing I will say about the Muslim religion though is one of my best friends, he's Muslim, and I used to stay with him. His mother was taking care of me, and when it was time to fast, I asked him if I can fast with him.
Yeah.
Just to get like a taste of what's really going on, and because also like when he wakes up, I kind of wake up. We shared a room, and it just was kind of working for me. And what I realized was I appreciate the nature of the religion because it teaches you lessons about yourself. This is my perspective. It teaches you to fast. What is fasting, right? And I asked this man one day, like, why do you fast? What is the point of it, or what does it teach you? And he said, it teaches for me it's simple. He said, every time somebody asks me if they're hungry, or someone comes to me if they're hungry, I give them food.
Yeah.
Because now I've understood what it's like to not have food and be hungry.
Absolutely.
Somebody asked me for water, I give them water. And I was like, unfortunately, I can't see anything in Christianity that can teach me that same lesson while making me feel so good at the same time. Like, I've never felt so good about not eating.
To comment on the fasting in the Muslim religion, there's also Lent in the Christian religion where you give up something. You can fast if you wanna during Lent, but you also give up something for a month or something like that. So I think that's kind of
No, it's not.
It's not the same thing.
I don't think it's nearly the same thing, because
No, it's-
people give up swearing, dude. Like for Lent, people give up chocolate, or people give up
it's-
coffee.
Yeah, no.
But they are.
There's a big community that fasts.
Yes, they
It is
is.
something
There is.
very
There
different,
is.
and it's still beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the whole Lent thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's,
I just don't think
you
it's
can't
as
compare it
But
to.
it also is very like individual. I've noticed in Christianity, because like my
It's
helper at home, Jessie, she fasts. Like an actual Muslim person, but she does it for Christianity.
Okay.
In Lent.
Yeah, there are
Like,
people
she
that actually
full
fast,
on
yes.
fast.
Yeah, fast.
And she is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, like the most honest people, and that is a Christian woman.
We actually had Jessie on our one
Our show, yeah.
our show on one of our
Nice.
what's the name's episodes.
Yeah,
we had her on there.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
On the cooking show.
And I
Yeah.
remember, I want to get your guys' comment on this as well. So this also even ties up into the masculinity thing and what I was trying to say in terms of men also don't know sometimes when there are issues within sometimes, for example, the workplace and whatnot. I referenced the Nuremberg trials. I don't know if you guys heard of the Nuremberg
I've heard
trials.
of it,
You
yeah.
might have with your studies, where these cats were soldiers, Nazi soldiers, and they were facing the music now. They were in court. Judges there is like, okay, World War II is over. What do you have to say now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they said, I think it's paraphrasing, is we were just following orders,
Yeah.
right? And it's so fundamentally human because we don't understand when we're doing something wrong. Even men to even larger extent, because I mean, if we go back in time, like back in time with regards to how we settled disputes, I mean, people would duel with guns,
Yeah.
you know, and pillage villages,
Yeah.
and you know, so slavery was like,
Oh, okay.
you know, exactly. How do you know how we would have reacted in that moment in time where everyone had slaves? What? I can have a slave, you can have a slave, everyone can have a slave, you know? So it's hard for me, Chad, it's hard to say that I would have been thinking differently
No, but
at
I
that
mean,
moment in time, or as a collective humanity, expect everyone to now think differently. Now it's a time where, okay, we're talking about women in the workplace. We're talking about the positivity and the value of having diversity in the world.
I feel like you're such a nice guy because like you're taking responsibility for shit that Germans did, and now it's our thing. And I get it, like, but
It
what?
explains, for me, it's an explanation for why it was like that.
But we come from such a different time. We can't even like compare
Yeah,
what we would do.
Because my question, sorry, my question is, because going back to what I was saying, I felt so bad to just be a man at one stage. Where I was like, have I just been this evil person my whole life?
But that's because
Thinking
you
these
thinking
thoughts
all the men are you.
and thinking, yes, but I mean, I question things that I've done in the past, and that's clearly not okay.
Okay.
You know, now that the movement has happened, etc. I mean, that's clearly not okay, Luke. I've been racist in the past, flat out.
Okay.
I've laughed at racist jokes in the past, and I just didn't know better. And it was I had to figure that out because I'm almost plagued and also gifted, I guess, with this introspection, this heavy introspective thing that happens literally every day in my life, where I'm like, okay, where is Luke right now? You know, morally, physically, mentally, where are you? Every single day I have to do that. And it was something that, and when I was at university, it was something that really bothered me, because like, oh my gosh, every single thing that I thought I knew about myself was actually, or at least the way I interacted with women was just wrong.
But look, bro, you can guilt trip yourself for shit that you did in the past, or you can commit to being a better man.
There we go.
You know, you can choose how you're gonna, what is the turmoil that comes from this. Like, yes, it's hard for me to step outside because of the things I've done in the past, but let's not, you weren't at your best. That wasn't your best. You weren't fully aware.
Exactly.
You weren't at your most conscious, right?
Exactly.
That's not the best version of Luke, right? So you know that's not the best version of you.
Yeah.
We forgive ourselves for those mistakes, and we make it right.
Yeah.
We ask for forgiveness and we do better.
Yeah.
We can't be like, nah, but the Nazis back then, man, damn.
So the problem with this generation, your people's generation, I find it, you people think way too much.
Yeah, we do.
You overthink shit that is simple, and you turn that simple into something complicated.
Yes, exactly.
I watch it through my kids, through people around
Exactly.
me. The youth. I watch social media myself. But that wasn't such a big thing. Why are you making such a big thing? And now, shit, now you need to go see a psychologist because you turn that normal thing into something cuck, and now, oh shit, now you're spending money firstly. You're telling a woman's telling, or a man is telling you something that you
already know
you are, or you just did. But just sitting still, having a conversation, not overthinking, you will actually be fine, guys.
And
you
give
will.
yourself grace.
Yeah.
Give yourself
And
grace.
forgive yourself.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes. It's okay.
Where you going,
I'm definitely
exactly
the
what
best
you're
now.
saying. Where you are heading to is important.
Yeah.
What happened in the past, it's done.
Yeah, 100%.
You cannot change that.
Yeah.
You can do better things now
Yeah.
with what happened.
Exactly.
And why I said that is because it's obviously it's good to be angry, because anger starts change.
Yeah.
Right? But then these people that are in these places, or these positions of power, they are coming from a position or a perspective of, I didn't do anything wrong. Right? Instead of, they had something evil in mind and they are implementing it. You understand? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Are we back to the Germans?
Yes.
Just back to men in the workforce and whatnot. Sorry, let me finish my thought. It's a case of, they didn't know better. Like I said, they were like, no, this is how it's supposed. This is how my father did it and my grandfather did it.
I would like to.
It's not.
You go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
I think that what you are failing to see is the other side of it. So the Germans that hate Jewish people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were those people, they were alive, and they were conscious of the fact that
Exactly.
this was wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a choice that you make
Yeah.
to stand on the right side of history.
Yes.
And even with like what's happening in Palestine right now, the genocide, there are Israeli children that are refusing to be drafted in the military. And we don't speak about those kids. We don't speak about those teenagers that
Who know.
they know that there is something happening that is wrong. Their parents can tell them, oh no, you have to, like, this is part of our religion. But they say, no, it's not.
No.
And I'm not going to murder a child. Like, that is not something that I'm going to do. And it's a
Which is
choice that
fantastic.
you make every single time. There were white people in apartheid that stood with brown people.
Yes.
And we cannot forget about those
Yes.
people.
100%.
We must remember that, yes, white people in general followed the sheep.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of them that did not. And I know a lot of my friends' parents who were great people in that struggle. They were the people that did not care if they lost their jobs. They just wanted to stand on the right side of history. And you cannot make excuses for the people who chose not to.
Yeah,
Because
to-
they did have a choice.
To be saying that, oh no,
Yeah.
I was just following orders is one of the
No,
biggest cop outs
yeah,
ever. And
absolutely.
for you to be giving them the grace of they didn't know any better, let's be real, they did know better. If
Yes.
they are in control of their mind. You know, it's not that it's not that Trump went to go to the voting stations and force people to vote for him. They made that collective decision. And now it's like, oh, I was just doing what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
We need to hold people responsible for what they actually do.
You are excused until you are given the right information. You are excused until you are like been given that paradigm shifting information. Like, oh, what I've been doing my whole life is wrong, and it's been demeaning this set of people or this group of people. Then after that precipice has been jumped over or met, then it's you. Then you have no excuse. Then you have no excuse.
I also think but when you say things like that and you make space for people that can now say, oh, we
That's the worst type of
know what is
delusion.
happening. I think that also falls into play in our own country with the TRC. Because those people will not be held accountable.
Nearly.
They will say, okay, you just come and say what you say and then we'll
It'll
just
be fine.
accept because you were part of the sheep. And that's not right. Like, they were supposed to be held accountable and then things would have gotten better. But we said because it's easier to just adopt that we didn't know or we were following a
That's
streak,
evil. That's evil.
then it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's the same for all the other struggles. That is exactly what happened in Namibia.
Absolutely.
It's what's been happening
Yes.
again and again. And it's
Yes.
because we do not hold accountable colonizers and people that take power from us.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know
the
that.
British crown jewels are from this country.
Bro.
Why are they not back here?
No,
It
yeah.
is the 21st century. Why have we not decided those are our jewels? Bring them back.
Why are they
Because we
still
are
a royal
still
family?
scared of power.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna say something positive about your generation. Exactly what I just witnessed in this room now. That is the nice side. And those Jewish kids that don't want to go fight to kill murder children. This generation now has woken up. And actually, they're very smart. This generation is a smart generation. And if it's shit and it smells like shit, they call it as shit.
Yeah.
And I like that about this generation. They're not scared to talk because they just don't give a shit.
But also because this is what happens when you're born free.
Yeah.
In a country like South Africa. This is what happens when you are born with freedom, with the right to walk as your own person. It's very hard to speak with freedom when all you know is oppression and you don't even have...
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So you often maybe ask, but why doesn't my auntie understand? Bro, she only knows what she knows. And you can't teach her your perspective because you were born with an ID. You were born with this and that
That's
shit
what I'm
that she
trying to
fought
say.
for.
They don't
That's what I'm
know
trying to say.
anything else. And it's going...
That's
Look, what you said earlier on. How are you going to change it? This generation
100%.
is going to change it. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
we have to
it's
be the
going to
ones.
get better.
Yeah.
And people are going to stand up for their rights and whatever else comes with it. And I believe your generation is going to be that change.
100%.
But you need to be guided by a few sane and normal uncles
Yes.
like myself.
100%.
And there's a few Lekka guys out there that's been through life, through apartheid, through all the shit that this country's thrown at them.
Yeah.
And we're not stupid people.
Yeah.
And we realize our future are you people. But you just need one or two of us to just make sure that you guys are okay.
Yeah.
And also just to get the help, because remember that born free are born free, yes. But they're born free with the hangings of the
Yes.
apartheid.
Yeah.
We will always be reminded that you're the first gen student, our first generation of varsity students. You're going to be the one that saves
Yes.
us. We will always have that on our back. We will always know that the apartheid happened.
Yeah.
So you must guide us, but also give us the space and the protection of what you know. And keep reminding us of what was happening before so that it doesn't leave us.
No, 100%. I agree.
We can start with games after this point. And I really wanted to talk to you about Thornton riots, because I know you were probably in the thick of it at that time.
Front line.
I was in Mitchell's Plain at the time.
Oh, you Mitchell's
So
Plain.
that was separate.
Bridgetown, because
No,
we were
I-
Bridgetown for
so it was Bridgetown. No, I was young then.
Oh, you were
When I
young.
was in high school. That's when the Thornton
yes.
Lions
Oh, okay.
But I was in the Mitchell's Plain group where we were that Portland I, Mandela, that walk, and we were moved all the way up there.
Yeah.
And so that Mitchell's Plain group, that was
Yes.
different. So we didn't come to the side. I remember I was a kid. I was 15 years old at the time.
Yes, fair enough.
So it was hectic. It was hectic.
Yeah.
I got Lekka riding at one stage.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure. And
Tear gas is not fun, eh?
to talk to, like aunties and uncles that didn't know freedom. My grandmother to this day talks about how amazing the government was pre-apartheid or during apartheid.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
They don't know better. People don't know better. We are blessed with the ability to think and the ability to be introspective and retrospective. But the humanity on a broader scale just aren't enlightened, and the anger is so important, so that the layman can now change their perspective. So yeah. With that being said, let's actually go into games, because I feel like we have like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Simple game, green flag or red flag. So it just means that, do you guys know a green flag? What a sign that's positive, a sign that's bad?
Yeah.
Like, just for you off the top of your head. There's not context here, so you're gonna have to make your own context. Try not to complicate it. Just give us off the top, yes or no, red flag, green
Just
flag.
write red or write green.
Yeah,
just red or green. Yeah.
red or green.
Okay.
Yeah. First one. They say a Gatsby from Athlone is overrated.
So,
Let's see what you guys have. Red. I can agree. That's red. You have so many varieties of Gatsby's there. It's not even doesn't even make
we
sense.
started that Gatsby net alone.
Come on.
Klaar. Get over it.
100%.
They say they hike, but they only go halfway up Lion's Head for the pictures. Ish. Red.
Definitely.
Green! Okay. Explain yourselves. So,
Why did you say green?
Proudly.
What are you saying? They go halfway up and
they go halfway up and then they
That's
take
a red
pictures.
flag for me.
So you say, I say no.
And then go back down after halfway, not even getting to the top.
No. So you see, this is your generation. They do that. We actually go for the hike.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do the full hike.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it should be red, then you should
Oh,
be
sorry.
red.
So you think it's best to go all the way up?
Yes.
If you're calling yourself a hiker.
That's red, yeah.
So that's
You
red.
would say, you should have said red.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
no, that's fine.
I got the question wrong.
So we only have one green.
I firstly am a proud anti-walker, so I understand the vibes, and also I appreciate the honesty, because a lot of people go halfway and they won't tell you. They'll take the photos and they'll act like they went all the way, but you are telling me I went halfway and I took
She's
the
a lazy.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do walking.
Sorry, got that one wrong.
I stand with those people.
Let's see. They've never been to Table Mountain, but they live in Cape Town.
I don't think I'm gonna
So-
have a green flag.
So they proudly Cape Townian, they live in Cape Town, but they've never been to Table Mountain.
Sure, I think most people are okay.
Big red.
Red.
Yeah.
You must go for free on your birthday.
Yeah, that's what I was about
Hey,
to
that's
say.
exactly it.
Yo, that whole month.
Yeah.
That whole month. is
That whole
free.
month, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. They say Cape Town isn't cliquey, but they only hang out with 5 friends from their high school.
I'm writing one word.
Just one.
I'm yet to say green.
Red,
I'm agree.
red.
Okay, we all agree.
I agree on that one.
We all agree. Yeah.
So are you saying that Cape Town
Very
is cliquey?
Very clicky. Yeah.
Amen. Thank
Extremely
you.
clicky.
Got that on
Definitely.
record.
Yeah.
I agree.
Did you say you got me saying that on record?
No, I'm agreeing.
Oh,
yeah.
I've been saying that. Like
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
very
preaching that.
Yeah.
They take calls on speaker at bootleggers like they're closing international deals.
I've seen that.
I just imagine like Wolf of Wall Street standing up there.
Red.
Yeah.
Red, dude. I've
Absolutely.
seen it happen.
Now we need to
Zoom calls.
Nah,
Zoom calls on a laptop.
Annoying.
all the time. Man.
I'm just
Go
like,
home, bro. Go home and do it.
like I'm a stage performer. I can get on stage and perform, but that type of confidence I don't have. That type of confidence I don't have. I can't do that. I could never. Okay, for the boys, this one. She says she's a homebody, but she's been seen at 3 different Joels this weekend.
No, but you can also answer.
She's lying.
She's absolutely lying.
I think it's green.
What is your home the club?
No.
Definitely.
No, do you not understand what homebody is? If you're homebody, you at home.
No, I can
Green.
explain. No, I can explain. You need to be. You can go out and be a homebody at the same time. So go out and get. Don't soup in your in your blanket and watching series. Go out and experience the world. You can still be a homebody. But now what, you just gonna, for me, I'm just gonna be an anxious wreck if I'm just gonna be at home the whole day, every day, you know.
No, some of us are very happy at home.
3 times
Yeah, exactly.
like
Yeah, 3 times
what days
a
of
week,
the week are you going to the club?
Yeah.
But I do think that like a woman can club and still be a homebody.
True.
Like I can go clubbing and come home at 10 o'clock happily.
Huh?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
you gonna hit-
That's what you're going to do tomorrow.
10 o'clock.
I literally will
What
not
does the club
stay
open? What
past
time
10
does the club
o'clock.
open?
No, she's.
Opens a club at 6, there's no one there.
She calls me at 10, then I'm coming home.
But I will leave. Do you know
She's
what I
talking
mean?
about bootleg.
Then I'm ready to
Yeah.
go.
They're having coffee.
Oh, diaboting now, eh?
Okay, I'm interested to see. They meet your father for the first time, and as they're greeting them, they say, "What's good, gang?"
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you?
Are you? Are you, bro? Okay,
Big red.
that's fair.
Yo,
That's
that
fair.
will make my blood
Hypothetically,
boil.
though, what do you
That will
find
make my
yourself
blood boil.
doing in that situation? You see,
Oh no!
are you just sending him home?
Oh yeah. No, I'll ask her. I'm that dad.
Let's say,
If I don't like you, I will say it straight. I'll say, oh, is that?
I've ordered
that
him
are
an
you
Uber.
broke up? I'm very straightforward.
But I think we both send him home.
Yeah. Who's in
Yeah.
English?
And shunning the daughter for her choices.
Not the one. She got a lucky packet. Okay, this one says, buying a fish and chips parcel from a random fisheries in the main road. Yes or no? Random fish parcel from the main road.
This isn't Joburg, man. We live in a fish city.
Look, if it's a
Hey,
samosa,
hey.
if it's a samosa or if it's a pie, then I'm.
Yeah, but
No, but we had calamari chip though. At a random fishery.
Nah. There are some institutions that
you can't. Yeah.
Even if your stomach hurts the next day, it's fine.
No.
Oh, so
I
you're-
can't eat.
You're a fan of seafood, I take it.
Yeah.
No, am I?
Quality.
Quality seafood, yeah.
Yeah, quality.
Take the fish on the rocks or
Yeah.
even Snookies. Just to, we can go to Snookies. Yeah?
Doing a number 2 at the beach toilets. I'd rather drive home. I'd rather take a flight home.
If you can't be, why not?
I mean, what beach are you going to? What beach are you going to?
Oh yeah. Nah, you can't.
No.
I told you this the other day. Camps Bay or Clifton, fantastic bathrooms.
I won't even.
I won't do it.
If you-
I won't do it.
I've been
And I've never had to. Like, I don't know why my body just won't. I don't think.
No,
that
I have to.
I don't
You are
actually.
blessed.
It's one of my stories
You
in
are
one of the
blessed.
books. You will die about that.
Okay, this one just says you met him at the gala.
Galaxy. There's nothing wrong with guys with the Galaxy. I used to go to the Galaxy.
You see?
I'm talking
You
about
see how
now.
quickly?
We're talking about now in the present time.
To my right, today's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Is this a thing? I don't
Yeah, it's another thing, but it's very different now.
Yeah, very,
guess
very
it's
different.
like-
Very different.
Yeah, we were okay.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Pretty
it's-
Go on a
right.
field trip.
Bing, bing, bing.
Galaxy.
We can vlog it.
I mean, this one is not that crazy. He supports the All Blacks. Or she supports the All Blacks.
Nah, very
I support the All Blacks.
Same.
very flagged.
Same.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
No!
You
Are you
mad?
not South African?
No!
You mad?
Are you not born?
Hey man, it's Tom and Jerry, okay? We need each
No.
other. We need each other. Without this, without
No,
the
you're
Springboks.
I love the All Blacks though. I
Yeah.
love the way they play rugby.
Me too. I spent
But no.
3 months in New Zealand.
Yeah,
I must be not supportive.
Nah,
Okay.
still Bokke all the way.
Fine. Have it your way.
We need to move.
He or she says she
Last
doesn't
one.
cook.
He what?
He or she says she doesn't cook. Just blank statement. I don't cook.
Read. Read.
Ooh, I tell you why. Certain people are good at certain things.
Oh! Okay!
If you not like, I've tried cooking. I asked her. I've tried to make them a biryani, this and the other, and their faces told me a different story.
No, it was fine.
No, you didn't say it was
You
right.
had nice chicken roast.
And so I tried, but I feel like that is not my strength. So I bring different strengths to
Okay.
this relationship.
Okay.
And this household. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mind being there, helping out if I can, so now and again, but it's not my strength.
Sounds
Okay.
masculine to me.
I do like the fact
Like,
it's not I can't cook. It's
Yeah.
more I don't.
I don't.
Because I don't believe anyone can't cook. You just follow the recipe.
I make eggs though.
He does make very nice.
Eggs and
Let's
popcorn.
cooking. Let's cook
Popcorn.
Makes
You good at that?
Microwave.
And on that note, thank you guys.
That's
I know
our games.
we passed you.
Your phone's coming to
Yeah, oh, we got it. Yusuf is already on. We're doing the outro still.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so
My
much.
apologies. I almost ran off.
Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thameenah, really appreciate it.
This was a lot of fun, besides my dirty fingers now. It was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys for having us.
Thank you
Of
so
course,
much.
of course.
We appreciate you
It's
guys.
so nice and calm, but not calm.
Yeah, we had something.
In a good way.
Yes, we had
Yeah,
conversations.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
But there's
fantastic.
so much that you don't know about us yet, and I'm sure
Yes, maybe we
there's
can
a
do
lot
another.
that we're doing that people should hear, because it would only encourage people to do so much. And this child here, and I call her child because she's my child, especially where women are concerned, she is such an example of how you can come from a daddy who hustled and struggled to someone who's now got her own successful business at 24 years old with 2 degrees and an NPO feeding people. You know what I mean? And she's still growing.
Yeah.
So I just feel like we haven't this.
Yeah.
Can do that
Can
maybe
you give
now.
us
Yeah.
30 seconds? Like, boop, 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 boop. What you're doing, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like things that you're doing. So, what you up to, etc. You don't have to do a description, just like give us a name so that we know.
You go 30 seconds, I'll go 30 seconds.
So I started my own social media management business. It's a fully women-run led. Everyone is women and young. And then we also own an NPO, Communities for Change, where we basically are the middlemen between communities and NPOs, and then the rest of the general public, where we basically make sure that everyone is feeding each other and help doing their part in society. We also are trying to do a lot more community events, which will be super exciting and will be something that we're doing. And then I am going to be starting a new business venture soon, inshallah. But I'm not going to say anything on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am hitting 30 schools now with motivational talks. I'm gonna finish book 6. I didn't finish book 6 because I let her finish her book first. Gave her this year. And then I have just started, my wife and I have just started a business where we get people who are struggling with employment to, we're employing people. We've just hired our first 20 people.
Let's go.
We did the training finish now, and we want to turn this into thousands of people where you can earn anything between 12 and 50,000, and it depends on you again.
Man.
Right, there's that. And then I'm MC, I do MCing, I do auctioning. I'm an auctioneer by trade. I auction at charity events as well. Just see what else. There's a massive thing coming up in the new year, which I cannot discuss. I would love to discuss, but I think you're gonna want us over here again after that. And what else is there? Shit, I forget.
There's always a lot.
Oh, there's events. We're busy with events as well now.
Okay.
We're moving into the event sector now. We want to do some big events and smaller events. And our NPO, we just want to see that NPO
No,
grow.
we just want to help people.
We want to help there. That's it. I always say to Thameenah, and I'm going to stay with this, and she knows this is my favorite line. I actually came up with this line, can you believe it?
Wow.
I can actually.
So,
Full of lines, you
and
see.
just, this is my favorite one. I say, the day you realize life is not just about you, but it's about that positive change you can make in one person or many people's lives, that is the day you actually start living.
Amen.
And end of on that note.
Your passion is not what you do, it's how what you do affects others.
Yes, that's what you like to say as well.
Love it, love it, love it.
What a way to end off.
Thank you so
we
much.
have to have you guys again.
Blessings.
We have to
Yes,
talk
we-
about that stuff.
Oh, bro.
Oh, man. But
Definitely.
thank you guys, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Love.